How do you communicate with young children who have undergone traumatic experiences? How do you get them to articulate the contents of their thoughts and dreams without words? How do you get them to participate in therapy when they do not wish to speak? Here at Neem, we have found the use of art therapy to be particularly useful when working with children, employed through various techniques. For instance, in this exercise, children draw random lines on a large piece of paper, and from this random scribble, we ask them to look closely and make out the shapes that they can see. Over and over again, we see them draw images related to conflict. Here, we can see a dead body in the middle among various household items. And it's no different for the girls. In this image, we see dead bodies in red, an axe, and a decapitated head, as one of the girls informed. Similarly, we can see a drawing here from a little girl once held captive by Boko Haram. We see to the left guns and knives, a bag of blood, a decapitated head. And to the right, we see her drawing a terrorist with a gun. Now, these activities will usually be followed up with other more common activities in talk and group therapy. Through another approach, we tell children to draw a past experience prominent in their minds. Here, we see the drawing of a terrorist beheading the girl's father. In this other frame, we see the child's murdered parents and a sibling. In this frame, we see terrorists approaching the village. Here, we see a dead body on the floor. And here, they spot a terrorist on their way back from the farm. Now, the next stage in this exercise is that we tell the children to draw their present state. Here, we see a child sitting by a tree, another child receiving counseling, another child outdoors with an adult, a girl at school with friends, and another girl at school, but standing apart from the other girl's play. And the final part of this technique, we ask the children to draw an imagined future. This girl wants to be a soldier to revenge. This other girl wants to be a doctor to help people. This boy wants to have a house and a car. This girl also wants to own a big home of her own. And this child wants to be a teacher. Through these exercises, we have also identified a number of children who are keen on joining the army to avenge the death of their parents. Now, joining the military is a noble and patriotic engagement. However, if a little child is consumed by hatred and revenge and wishes to join the military for personal revenge, we spot an opportunity to work with that specific child to address his or her anger or grievance by firstly validating their feelings and then seeking ways to address it and build their resilience. How do you get women to speak about various forms of abuse in their homes, including physical, sexual, and emotional? How do you get them to speak about rape? How do you get them to speak about sensitive issues, which, if attributed to them, can lead to stigmatization and discrimination for them and for their families? We use psychodrama to address many of these issues. We involve women in the scripting of the plays and character development. Over and over again, we find them correcting us with the dialogue and action. They would say, no, it happens this way, or no, the uncle will come that way. Women and men in communities put on these plays for themselves and by themselves, speaking to no one in particular, but to everyone in general, speaking about their plight specifically through the third person. And in several of these plays, I have seen some community members, culprits or not, sit uncomfortably on their seats. And I once heard a man say, these people, they expose us, meaning these people are exposing us. To which I smiled uncontrollably. And we dance too, as a form of expressive therapy. Do you know how joyous it is to light a smile on the faces of these resilient people? How much more laughter? We also use a lot of mindfulness exercises to get individuals to focus on sensing and feeling the present. In addition to the breathing exercises used to center participants, we get participants to focus on the moment by utilizing the long tradition of repetitive creative action. Coloring mandalas, for instance, distracts our conscious attention away from ourselves, away from the stress and anxiety, to focus on the present, to focus on the task at hand. What we have done differently is to contextualize this activity to our own reality, utilizing cultural and traditional relevant practices and products. In Nigeria, we have what we call Bama hats or Hausa hats. These hats are also widespread throughout sub-Saharan Africa. It is an intricately embroidered hat that takes between 2 to 5 weeks to make by hand. In Nigeria, the creation of the hat is popularly traced to Bama. Bama is one of the regions worst hit by the violent insurgency and has a significant percentage of its indigents currently displaced. The hats have traditional and cultural significance in the whole of present-day northern Nigeria and are worn widely by a cross-section of Nigerians. What we have done in our contextualization of repetitive mindfulness techniques is to embed this cultural practice of embroidery into our psychosocial support delivery. We yet go one step further by also embedding peace messages in the embroidered hats in different dialects spoken in the community. For instance, this hat shows justice in Hausa and Kanuri, as well as in English. Similarly, we also work with community members to practice the repetitive exercise of knitting hand fans. This activity is not only engaged in and enjoyed by women, but also by men who find it somewhat amusing but calming nonetheless. In the knitted hand fans, we embed peace messages such as forgiveness, justice, tolerance, respect for diversity, peace, and so on. As part of our efforts to promote peace building in vulnerable communities and to complement our non-punitive community peace building mechanisms, we create peace walls or peace murals in host communities. We begin by organizing community meetings where community members vote on what peace building value best represents them. After deciding on a peace value, such as tolerance or forgiveness or respect, the community leadership will choose a strategic wall in the community. We'll then engage an artist to draw a tree, a peace tree, and afterwards, we have an unveiling ceremony where community members write their chosen value in their respective dialects to enhance their sense of self-efficacy and to promote inclusivity. These are usually quite heterogeneous communities where multiple languages are spoken. The high level of heterogeneity in these host communities owe to the amount of displacement from other more homogeneous communities affected by the Boko Haram and ISWAP insurgency. We hope you found this short video informative and will consider using expressive therapies to address trauma alongside other more standardized talk and activity-based therapeutic techniques.